Hello and welcome to Observer TV News. It's Monday, November 30th. I'm Lara, Willis with Mallory, Hendry. Here are the top stories. The Toronto Humane Society is bringing in an outside expert as interim executive director following charges by the Ontario SPCA. The Montreal Alouettes were victorious in yesterday's Grey Cup game, and Britain's Got Talent runner-up Susan Boyle breaks sales records with her debut album. And now to our top story.
Thank you, Lara, and good morning, everybody. According to a statement released yesterday, the Toronto Humane Society is opening itself up to the scrutiny of an outside expert. The organization hopes to take some of the tarnish off its reputation by allowing an impartial party to review its operations. The Humane Society was raided on Thursday by the Ontario Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals and the Toronto Police. 5 people were arrested and charged with animal cruelty, including President Tim Trow. The Humane Society is already getting back on its feet. The yet-to-be-named reviewer will help hire a new executive director, and a well-respected veterinarian will lead the clinical team to make sure the animals are well taken care of.
The Ontario Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals euthanized more sick animals at the Toronto Humane Society over the weekend. The agency says the animals were sick and malnourished. They also allege that employees at the shelter fed expired cans of cat food to sick felines. Investigators raided the River Street shelter last week amid allegations of animal neglect and mistreatment. 5 employees, including the president, Tim Trow, and chief veterinarian, Steve Sheridan, have been charged with animal cruelty. The Humane Society's entire board of directors faces charges as well.
A fire that has 14 Scarborough residents recovering from smoke inhalation is still being investigated. An apartment complex near Eglinton and Victoria Park Avenue caught fire early yesterday morning. Investigators say the blaze started in a 4th-floor unit around 7:30. It spread quickly, but thankfully everyone made it out okay. People returned to their homes late last evening. Officers say they think a candle started the blaze.
Ontarians battling colorectal cancer have received some financial reprieve from the high cost of their treatments. Health Minister Deb Matthews has announced that funding for a drug used to treat that cancer will now be available for 24 cycles. They used to cover only 16 cycles. The drug Avastin has been effective in shrinking tumors by cutting off the blood supply, but each treatment costs nearly $2,000. Patients who are eligible for the drug may qualify for extensions beyond the 24 cycles if their cancer responds to the medication.
Some people in the Toronto area are worried they may not be able to use their public swimming pools for much longer. The Toronto District School Board has been making adjustments to the school budget for several years now, and many of the city's community centers that house the pools have been warned they may lose them and their after-school swim programs. Irina Litchak investigates.
The area serves as a location for a community center that's been in danger of shutting down for several months now due to provincial budget cutbacks.
This is Irina Litchak reporting live for Toronto Observer. I'm standing here outside of Unisys Swim School, a local community center that provides swimming classes in the evenings for the students living in this area.
The Toronto School Board claims it doesn't have enough money to support after-school programs. The lack of funding threatens to end swimming classes here. Taylor Kintz is one of the students who has been coming here after school for her daily exercise.
How do you feel about your swimming classes being canceled?
Kind of sucks because I love swimming and I very learned it. Now it's just going to be closed because there's nowhere else in the area that I can go to. How long have you been coming here? I've been coming here for 2.5 years.
And what do you think you're going to do now that the Unisys Swim School is closing their swimming pool?
Well, I'm going to look on some websites if there's some other community center, but it's probably not nearby or it really sucks. I might do it somewhere.
Kim's also said that she's made a lot of friends here over the past 2 years and will have a hard time keeping in touch. A spokesperson for the community center refused to comment.
Because of these recent cutbacks, unfortunately, a lot of community centers in the area have suffered, and a lot of kids have lost their extracurricular activities. This is Irina Litchak, reporting live for Toronto Observer.
Centennial College students came back from their summer vacation last month to a minor disruption. Ordinarily, the courtyard at the Centre for Creative Communications has a wonderful little fish pond, but this year something has gone wrong. Will Senn has this report.
Koi pond in the courtyard of the CCC is usually a glimmering oasis, but it isn't what it used to be. The fish aren't complaining, but sometime in the summer algae took over and clouded the water. The filtration system is similar to those found in pools. It broke down over the summer, and since then, the fish have been nearly invisible in the little pond.
Well, I don't really know the optimal environment for koi, but if that was me, I would want my home cleaned up a little more.
It's hard to say whether or not the water quality will improve in time for students to enjoy the fish. The days are starting to get colder, and soon the fish will need to be stored away for the winter.
So even though you can't see them, the fish are here. Will Senn, Observer Television News.
Ontario is moving forward with cancer treatment. The province has decided to extend its coverage of a drug called Avastin. In September, the government was criticized for only covering up to 16 treatments of the drug. Of the 7 provinces that publicly fund Avastin, Ontario is the only one that caps the quantity. Ombudsman Andre Marin called the limit, quote, wrong, unreasonable, and bordering on cruelty. In response, Ontario will extend the coverage to 24 treatments. There will also be the possibility of more, depending on the family doctors and the oncologist's assessments.
Angry driving instructors are protesting at Queen's Park this morning. Employees at the Ontario's drive test centres have been on strike since August. While some managers have been administering written tests, many services have been unavailable. The protesting instructors claim that the strike has shut their private driving schools down because students can't be licensed until Drive Test reaches an agreement with the union. And those are today's top news stories. Now let's send it over to Alexandra Kazia for a look at all the buzz in the entertainment world.
Hello everyone. Remember the Scottish woman who shocked the world by proving that not so pretty people could also sing? Well, she may not have won Britain's Got Talent, but Susan Boyle's I Dreamed a Dream album sold more than 400,000 copies. This breaks the UK record for first week sales of a debut album. Susan and Simon Cowell are probably feeling really good about now. And now someone who doesn't feel so good. Tiger Woods' alleged mistress denies having an affair with him. Rachel Utica hired celebrity lawyer Gloria Alfred to deal with the situation and wishes to be left alone. Of course, this all came out after Woods crashed his car into a fire hydrant. Reports said the scratches on his faces were not from the accident, but allegedly from his wife, who fought with him about his affair. He hasn't made any comments regarding that. Now in movies. Transformers and Spider-Man are beat, and the Batman that needed a lozenge, he can move over as well. It's official. Twilight sequel New Moon has the biggest opening day on record. Now at its 10-a-day mark, it's grossed over $230 million, proving that fangirls everywhere win, even if Leo is no longer king of the world. I, however, can't wait to see The Princess and the Frog, the 9th Disney princess movie in about 70 years. It also features the first African-American princess and is set in New Orleans. The movie concentrates on hand-drawn animation like that of back in the day and opens in theaters everywhere on December 11th. Stay tuned after the commercial break for Steve Darley as he has more of the latest buzz.
6. Now serving number 6.
You don't have to wait forever for the career of your choice. With Fast Track at Centennial College, complete a program in business, technology, or healthcare, and get working in as little as 8 months. Fast Track. To learn more, contact Centennial College.
If you don't love what you do, go find something you will. Centennial College. Start here, don't look back.
Welcome back. 2 movies led the way as box office records were broken this weekend. Hollywood banked a cool $275 million over the 5-day Thanksgiving weekend in the States. That breaks the old record by $30 million set in 2000. Sitting at the top of the tree is the Twilight Saga, New Moon, from Summit Entertainment with $42.5 million. Just $2 million behind was Sandra Bullock's new picture from Warner Brothers, The Blind Side. And rounding out the box office top 10 were 2012, Old Dogs, Disney's A Christmas Carol, Ninja Assassin, Planet 51, Precious, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and The Men Who Stare at Goats. And speaking of numbers, Britain's Got Talent runner-up Susan Boyle's debut album hit the UK charts this weekend in the #1 spot. Boyle has become a YouTube sensation since she first hit the spotlight last year. I Dreamed a Dream was the fastest-selling album of the year in the UK, and with over 400,000 physical and digital copies sold in a week, the 48-year-old Scot now holds the record for fastest-selling debut album by a female artist worldwide. That's it for all the entertainment buzz. Now over to Meghan and Lloyd with the sports action.
Thanks, Steve, and good morning. I'm Meghan Housley with Lloyd Quansah, and here's the latest in sports. In Calgary last night, Montreal took home the CFL's Grey Cup. The Alouettes beat Saskatchewan Roughriders by a mere 1 point, and only after the win seemed like a sure thing for Saskatchewan. In the last 5 seconds of play, Montreal's Damon Duval missed a field goal, but Saskatchewan had too many men on the field. Duval got a second chance and made the goal to give the Alouettes the win. Final score, 28-27.
Yesterday afternoon, the Toronto Raptors lost to the Phoenix Suns 113-94. Kid Canada himself, Steve Nash, dropped 20 points and 16 assists to lead the Suns. Bosch led the Raptors with 30 points and 17 rebounds. Bargnani contributed 24 points and 7 rebounds. The team continued their inconsistent ways with a strong first half and then played poorly in the second half. The Raps are now on a 3-game losing streak, including a blowout loss to the Charlotte Bobcats on Wednesday. They next play at home against the Washington Wizards on Tuesday and travel to the ATL against the Hawks.
Elsewhere in Alberta, one Canadian's 2010 Olympic medal hopes have ended. John Kuchera was skiing yesterday in the men's World Super G race in Lake Louise. He caught an edge and fell. He broke his leg and had to be airlifted off the course. His ski season is over. Other members of the men's ski team performed well. Manuel Osborne-Paradis won the event. This is his first big international victory and good enough to send him to the Olympics.
The Toronto Maple Leafs were off this weekend and are looking to capitalize on their 2-game winning streak tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. They beat the Panthers and the Lightning. Leafs practice was heated yesterday. Mikhail Grabowski and Francois Beauchemin fought. Grabowski actually landed a punch before Jason Blake, an assistant coach, stopped it. There was no reason for the altercation given, but Grabowski foresees a rebound by Beauchemin. He told the Star last time Blake scored twice in the next game. This time, Beauchemin will score 2. You'll see. The Leafs also play their rivals, the Canadiens, on Tuesday in Montreal.
Meanwhile, in local news, the UTSC Spartans women's soccer team plays no matter what the weather. Here's Observer TV's Muzna Siddiqui with the story.
Even though it's pouring out here, the Scarborough Spartans are gearing up to play against downtown's PT Flash team. Coach Jeff believes that the Spartans are going to win, despite the wet conditions.
A really fast team, so whenever you have a really fast team, the rain does put a little bit of an effect, slows everyone down. Luckily, the field isn't too muddy, so we'll be able to use our speed to our advantage, so hopefully it won't hinder us that much.
The Spartans almost had a perfect season, but because of a technical error, they had to replay a match. They finished their season 5-1. CC Louis says that the team still has a lot of high spirits going into the game.
It's going to be really tight. This is a good team. They beat us in the final last year as well, after 5 converts. So that was an insane of a game, and I'm expecting this to be exactly the same, because they're a good team, but I really look better. So hopefully that comes out today.
Louis also says this has been one of the best football seasons they've had.
It's a really great team that I'm on. Everyone's really supportive, everyone's great, so I'm really excited.
Well, it looks like the rain is still coming down hard, but the UTSC Spartans should still prevail. This is Ms. Siddiqui reporting for Centennial College News.
And in other sports news, running on the treadmill can help your physical endurance, but you may be on your way to injuring yourself without knowing it if you're not careful. Stephanie Leong reports.
Whether it's running on a treadmill or outside, the impact will take a toll on your joints. Kimberly Hoy, a 21-year-old student on the University of Guelph's swim team, injured her left knee because of the impact while running on it.
Ever since I joined the swim team, I've been running on a treadmill either at home or at the gym any chance I get because I wanted to improve my endurance and my speed, but I never thought that it would injure my knees as well.
She's been using the treadmills at the gym and at home since she joined the team 3 years ago, but she started feeling pain in her left knee in the summer. She went to see a doctor, and he said running on the treadmill may have caused impact to her knees. Extreme fitness trainer Ray Ramono say it is also because she wasn't wearing the proper shoes.
A lot of people don't wear the proper shoes when they go to run.
What kind of shoes should they wear?
You actually should have a runner. I tend to find cross-training shoes, shoes with an elevated heel. For example, you see a lot of brands out there that the heels are quite high because they have a lot of padding and things like that. That'll throw off your actual running stride sometimes for some people.
I always wear these Reeboks when I run, but I didn't know these with the high tops could potentially hurt your knees, so I'm not wearing them anymore.
exercising using the elliptical. Her doctor says it won't affect her knees. She hopes to compete with Guelph on the swim team in the new year. Stephanie Lowe, Observer TV News, Toronto.
And the world's highest paid athlete, golfer Tiger Woods, isn't saying much about his car crash Friday. Yesterday, he accepted blame for the accident, saying he is human and not perfect. Woods is scheduled to hold a press conference tomorrow at Sherwood Oaks Country Club in California. That's where he is hosting a tournament starting Thursday.
And Tiger Woods' accident just keeps getting interesting. After crashing his car on Friday, the police have still not spoken to Woods or anyone else at his estate. Now police may be looking to charge his wife, Ellen Nordgren, for spousal abuse. Woods first claimed it was carelessness for him to back into a tree and fire hydrant. Even people called Nordgren a hero for saving him. But after reports of an argument over Woods' extramarital affair, police are thinking otherwise. Woods has still not spoken to police.
And that's your look at the world of sports. Now to Michelle Nash for the latest in Spidey gossip.
Thanks, Megan. Tomorrow night, the season finale of The Hills will air. The finale may answer the question about Spidey's spawn. Will they or won't they have a baby? But the fun doesn't stop after tomorrow's finale. Spencer and Heidi have written a book called How to Be Famous. The book offers a 10-step process to being a celebrity in reality land. The book is a joke, and Heidi and Spencer may be the first to admit it. So what does that say about us viewers? The reality show is more fiction than fact, and they don't seem to care. Has reality TV just become a way for us to become interested in fiction? Lineup for shows like American Idol grow each time. Losing weight on The Biggest Loser is not about the scale, it's about winning the prize. Reality TV is no longer as simple as 7 strangers picked to live in a house and have their lives taped like it was when this whole craze started with MTV's The Real World. One of the Real Worlders once said, they use what you give them. Flying to Cabo, driving fancy cars, buying houses on a whim, Spidey does it all. And it is fascinating. I watch it, I will watch it tomorrow night, and chances are I will read the book too. Because who better to learn from than the reality king and queen? And those are my thoughts. I'm Michelle Nash. Stay tuned for more commentary after the break.
Six. Now serving number 6.
You don't have to wait forever for the career of your choice. With Fast Track at Centennial College, complete a program in business, technology, or healthcare, and get working in as little as 8 months. Fast Track. To learn more, contact Centennial College.
If you don't love what you do, go find something you will. Centennial College. Start here, don't look back.
Thanks, Michelle. You know, the term swine flu is everywhere these days. With all the coverage on the nightly newscasts, I'd swear millions were dying, and that's simply not true. I think we all need to gain a little perspective here. First, the numbers. So far, H1N1 has been a direct or indirect cause of just over 300 deaths in Canada and 4,000 deaths in the United States. And while that number seems high, it's important to remember that seasonal flu deaths in the U.S. are closer to 40,000 per year. But you don't see wall-to-wall coverage of seasonal flu activity every night. Members of the media have a responsibility here. It's up to us to make sure we get the facts straight every night and present the most accurate picture to viewers. And quite frankly, that isn't happening. Ever since the emergence of the virus in April, some members of the media have gone crazy. Yes, this pandemic is widespread, but in the vast majority of cases, those with H1N1 will recover. And if infection rates stay the same, the Centers for Disease Control estimates more people will die from complications due to seasonal flu this year. But you won't see that in the news. And that's what I'm thinking. For Observer TV News, I'm Will Senn. Back to Lara and Mallory.
And that's what's making news this hour. Stay with us for more news coming up. Check our website anytime, thetorontoobserver.ca.
On behalf of all of us here at Observer TV News, thank you for watching and have a great day.